What's up everyone, my name is Marie, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, I'm building a tiny home in the world of Windenburg, and as you can see, I'm building in the more downtown area of Windenburg. It's really been a while since I've built anything in this specific area of Windenburg. For some reason, I don't really build here all that often. Also, Tudor homes are not my favorite type of house to build. However, I do like to build them occasionally. So I don't know, whenever I'm in the mood to do something different, something not suburban, something not, I don't know, just not as basic, I guess, then I will gravitate towards doing Tudor homes from time to time because they're just something different for me. And once I get started on them, I always think they're so cute. So I also always really love to build Tudor style houses around Christmas time. Now, this is not a Christmassy build. I was pretty early with my first snowy winter build for this year, but I promise you this is not a Christmas build, so don't worry. But I always really love to build Tudor style homes around Christmas time because I love looking at those little miniature homes, or like pictures of miniature homes, I guess. Those little houses that you can place like in your house just for decoration, when you can build like a little Christmas or like wintry village around your Christmas tree or what have you. Like those small miniature houses, I love those so much, especially in the Christmas theme. And usually those houses are Tudor style inspired, at least. So that's what I really love to build around Christmas time. And that's actually one of the only times I will build in this specific area of Windenburg. And also, one of the main reasons I never built here is because the camera is really annoying on these lots, because as you can see, there is that higher up area behind this lot that's just like this very high up kind of like bridge situation. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I don't think it's a bridge, but just that very tall wall, if you will, behind this lot. It makes the camera jump up to that height, and it's very annoying. However, they did fix that a while back with a base game update or something, I think. Or not a base game update, I'm not exactly sure, but I think they fixed that a few months ago, quite a while back actually. And it's so much better now. Like the camera will jump up on occasion, but not as often as it used to. So that's a big improvement, and it makes building and actually recording on these lots a lot more interesting and a lot easier. And yeah, so I'm really thankful that they fixed that little glitch. But yeah, as you can see, I'm building this little tiny home. It's not a tiny home as far as the game's concerned, I don't think. Maybe it is, I didn't actually try that. I think it should be at least under 100 tiles. So I think that the game might actually consider this a small house, or maybe even a tiny home. I'm not sure, I just didn't check, but I'm just calling it a tiny house because it is very small. This house only has one bedroom with a double bed, so you can have two Sims living in this house if you wanted to. However, the double bed is up against the wall, so it's only accessible from one side. So I think the scooting trick works for everyone now, so you should be fine on that in that regard. So this house should be functional for two Sims, but it is very, very small, and definitely too small for three Sims because there's only one bedroom in this house. I mean, I'm sure you could maybe, well, no, I was gonna say maybe place a Murphy bed in the living room, but that's not gonna fit either. So let's just say that this house is for one or two Sims, depending on what you like to play with. The house has one bedroom, one bathroom, and then a living and a kitchen, and I'm really pleased with how this house turned out. I was actually working off of a sketch that I found on Pinterest for the facade of this house, and then I just kind of made it my own with some extra little bump outs and roofing details and stuff like that. But yeah, the house is very, I don't know, I was gonna say boxy. Well, I mean, the reference picture that I was looking at was basically just a square little house with no bump outs whatsoever. So I just kind of added my own little bump outs on the side. You can see a couple of diagonal walls and a little bump out in the front of the house. So that's what I did to make it a little bit more interesting. and a little bit more, I don't know, I guess cartoony and just a little bit more cutesy in that sense. And I really enjoyed playing around with the wallpaper for this house. You can see that I'm using that siding from Get Together. All of the wallpapers I'm using for the exterior of this house at least are from Get Together. And then I think all of the windows are too. Yeah, all of the windows are Get Together. And then the front door is from Base Game, and then I used a couple of larger windows from Base Game as well. And then off to the side of the house, I have another door that leads to that little porch area, if you will, and that door is from the movie Hangout stuff, but it has some very cute little details. So I thought that that house was a nice little accent piece, or that door was a nice little accent piece for this house. So that's why I decided to use it. But yeah, the exterior of this house mainly is just Base Game and Get Together. So if you have those two packs, then at least for the exterior of the house, you should be fine. And I think it turned out very cute. I was doing a little bit of landscaping. I placed this large tree in the back of the lot, and I went crazy with some landscaping and some flowers. I actually used these flowers from the, what's it called? Romantic Garden Stuff pack. For my landscaping, I usually go for only debug items because it's free, so it doesn't make the house more expensive. So I usually only use debug landscaping, but for this house, I don't know, for some reason I was inspired to use those flowers from the Romantic Garden Stuff pack, and I think they look so cute. And I did that also because I was thinking that the sim living here could be very much into flower arranging. So that's why I placed a few extra flowers around the house, and I also gave them some planter boxes off to the side of the house, and then of course the flower arranging table on that little porch area. But you'll see that a little bit later. I was thinking of a sim living by themselves in this little house. And then, like I just explained, I was thinking that they could be very much into flower arranging and also into like cooking and baking. So one thing I wanted to make sure was that this house would have a nicely sized kitchen. I mean, it is a very small house, so everything in this house, like every room, is very small. So the kitchen isn't like big or anything, but it is a nice kitchen. Like I didn't really want to cut back on the amount of space that I had for like counters and stuff. So I did make sure that the kitchen is nicely sized. You shouldn't run into any routing issues or anything in the kitchen. I also play tested everything, so you should be fine. But yeah, I was thinking that this sim could be very much into baking and cooking as well. So yeah, I gave them a nice kitchen with a stove and an oven and stuff like that. I just wanted to make sure that they had a nice kitchen in this house. And then we're moving on to the interior. Now for the interior, I used a nice mix of both modern and more traditional looking furniture. I really liked the idea of a younger sim living here. Maybe a younger sim, well, like I already said, alone by themselves. And they also really enjoy being by themselves. They are kind of a loner sim, if you will. And then by loner, I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean to say that this sim is a loner in the sense that they really appreciate their alone time and they are really good at just being by themselves. And just do some gardening and some baking and some cooking, and then they're perfectly content. So that's the kind of sim that I was thinking about for this little house. So the loner trait is not necessarily a negative thing, in my opinion. I consider myself a loner too. I am very good at being by myself. I really enjoy being by myself. So yeah, if that makes you a loner, then I guess I'm a loner. It's not that I don't enjoy being among like friends and family. It's just that I'm really good at being by myself and I really value my alone time. So that was the kind of sim that I was thinking could be living in this house as well. And I made sure to make this house very cozy. It's not too cluttered because this space is very small. So I didn't want it to be too overwhelming and I didn't want there to be any routing issues either. So I didn't clutter it up too much. However, the house is completely filled and it looks very lived in. As you can see, when you walk through the front door, you enter right into the very tiny living area. I used that little couch or like that sectional little couch from Dream Home Decorator, and I just turned it into a cutesy little love seat. I love that green color too, so that's where I added a touch of more modern furniture, and then I combined it with that chair from Cottage Living. I love combining those two together. I've definitely done it before. I've definitely done like a sectional couch combined with that chair from Cottage Living. I've done that before, but I just think that they combine so nicely together. It's just that perfect mix of modern and more traditional. And like I already explained, that was definitely what I was trying to go for. So after the little living area, I'm moving on to the kitchen. And I'm using these green countertops from Cottage Living. I used a fair amount of Cottage Living in this or throughout this little build. But I mainly wanted to use these countertops because I really, really wanted to use that farmhouse sink. That's one of my favorite sinks in the game. I think it's so cute. I love farmhouse sinks. I love them in real life too. Like in my dream house, I am definitely going to include a farmhouse at some point in my life, or a farmhouse sink is what I'm trying to say, at some point in my life. I love those types of sinks. I think they're so gorgeous. But yeah, as you can see, the kitchen is nicely sized when you compare it to the rest of this house. I mean, the house is tiny, but it's not too tiny. It's just because of the size proportions in The Sims, it just feels tiny. So yeah, it's definitely a very small little house, but the kitchen is nice. Definitely some space to walk around. However, not enough space to place a full like 4-seater dining table. So I did go for a smaller 2-seater dining table. And I also placed a bookcase in the kitchen / dining area because I didn't have space for that in the living room. So that's why I decided to place it in the dining room. And then off of the dining room, we have the tiniest little bedroom, which I think is so cute. But yeah, I made sure to include a bin in the kitchen as well, and then just a fair amount of plants too, because I was thinking that the Sim, like I already said, is very much into flower arranging. So they're into flowers in general, but I also just think that they're very much into plants and taking care of plants inside the house too. So that's what I tried to reflect throughout this little house, I guess. But yeah, let me know what you think of this house. I think it turned out very cute. It was nice to build something tiny for a change. I haven't really been building any smaller homes. Lately, I've just been building larger family homes. And then that one very large, like modern farm situation. And I don't know, I've just been really enjoying building larger family homes. So this small house was definitely a nice change of pace for me. And I think it looks very cute. So for the bedroom, I used this double bed from Outdoor Retreat. I never used this bed, but I think it looks so good. And it was perfect. Like the whole vibe of this bed was perfect for this little house. So I really enjoy how it looks in here. And then, oh yeah, one thing I did, because I didn't have the space for a dresser in the bedroom, I decided to swap out the console table in the living room for a dresser. So, I mean, it's not too realistic maybe, but at least you now have a functional dresser in this build. You don't technically need dressers for gameplay. You can also click the mirror and have your Sim change outfits. But I mean, for the sake of realism, you probably want to include a dresser in your build. At least that's what I like to do. So I decided to just swap out the console table for a dresser, and then that problem was fixed too. And then for the bedroom, small as it is, I still really wanted to try and decorate it as much as possible without causing any routing issues. So I just placed a little wooden stool in there and I put a little plant on top of that. So it looks a little bit more decorated and just a little bit more lived in. And then for the bathroom, I did want to make sure to include both a shower and a tub. So I put a shower tub combination in this bedroom or bathroom. I could have also gone with just a shower maybe, but I don't know. I really wanted to fill up the space a bit more, so I just went for my classic bathroom layout. I use that layout all the time, but it works, and it worked for this house too, so that's why I went with it. And then for this little porch area, as you can see, I placed an outdoors trash can and also the flower arranging table. And then the porch area is pretty much filled up already, so I just decorated it with some flowers and whatnot. With some plants, and I just kind of tried to make it look cutesy and stuff. And then I did some more decorating the exterior, not necessarily landscaping. I just put a couple of random little items around the house to make it look like the sim has been working on their garden and stuff. But yeah, that's actually it. So let's jump right into the game and I'll show you the house in real time. So here we have the house in the game. I think it looks very cartoony and quite fairy tale-like too, which was definitely the vibe that I was trying to go for this little house. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. As you can see, I didn't use up all of the lot because I really like the look of this house being surrounded by a lot of grass for some reason. So that's why I didn't place landscaping all over the lot. I just kind of left it a little bit more bare, if you will, because I just really like the way that the grass looks. So I kept the landscaping to a little bit of a minimum, at least for me. So over here in the backyard, we have a couple of planter pots and this little picnic bench, as you can see, which I was definitely thinking this sim would spend a lot of time. They would just sit here, maybe have something to drink, something to eat, and work on their flowers that they probably plant in here. And then over on the other side of the house, we have this little porch area where I placed the flower arranging table. And I also really enjoyed using this little item from Cottage Living. I think it looks so cute and it suits the house so nicely. But when we go inside, we walk straight into the living room. My sim is sitting here, as you can see, because I was playtesting the TV. But yeah, we have this little entryway with a big mirror and a plant and just a nice coat rack. And then we have this living room situation, which I think looks very, very cozy. It's not too cluttered, as you can see, but it definitely still looks very cozy and lived in my opinion. Then through this little archway, we have the nice spacious kitchen and dining area. I love this kitchen. It's full on Cottage Living, but I just think it's so cute and it suits this house so nicely. I loved using this green color. This is definitely my favorite swatch of these countertops, so I was very happy that I was able to use them for this house. And then we have this little two-seater dining table, as you can see, and then I placed a bookcase in here as well. So your sim has everything that they would need, except for a computer. I didn't put a computer in this build because, well, for one, I didn't really have the space for a full-on office area, and then I also didn't really think that a computer would suit this house. So, I mean, you could always buy just a little laptop and place it on the dining table. That's what I was thinking. So you could easily fix that problem. And then over here, we have the tiny little bedroom. I loved using this bed. I think the bedding on here is so cute. And then I combined it with this nightstand from the Industrial Loft Kit, which I think just goes very nicely with this whole room for some reason. And yeah, I just decorated it as much as I could without causing any routing issues. So it looks quite cute. And then over here on the other side of the house, we have the very standard but functional little bathroom. I loved using this sink in here. I think it looks very cute. But that's actually it for this house. So this tiny Tudor home is up on the gallery and it comes in at just over 30,000 simoleons. So it's not too expensive. It's not quite a starter home, but also not very expensive. So you could easily save up for it. And I built it on a 20 by 20 in Windenburg, but I think you could also place it on a 20 by 15. I haven't actually tried that, but the house is very small, so I don't think that would be too much of an issue. But that's actually it for this video. So I really hope that you enjoyed this build. You can obviously go ahead and download it off the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is Simmarysims. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is Simmarysims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so. And if you want to be notified of every single time I upload a video, just click that little bell icon and you should be fine. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!